Christopher Witecki.
Hello, sir. How are you? So nice to see you, Gary.
What a week! I
Oh
gotta,
my
gotta
God, did
say,
you feel that full moon on Friday, dude?
holy smokes! It was like punching my way out of a wet paper bag this whole weekend.
There was a lot of aftermath and hangover for sure. That full moon had me angry, man. I actually felt a lot of stuff come up. Couldn't really target it specifically. So it was, I think, subconscious for
Yeah,
me.
yeah. There was some anger in there. I also found myself really super tired this time. Like, like,
Yeah.
like I went for a nap at like 4 o'clock for an hour, set my alarm, and woke up at like
Oh
11:30.
my God. Wow. You're doing some business in the afternoon, man. Wow. That's pretty crazy. I was tired too. I was feeling sluggish. I went on a hike on Sunday too, and I was dragging. I was like, what? I feel like oatmeal. My body felt kind of
Yeah,
heavy. So yeah,
and
we're
today I
releasing.
feel it too for some reason. I'm not sure why, because normally on an Aries day I feel like I want to charge.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that I do too. I'm feeling low in energy as well. I can
Is
confirm
that all
that
the
as well.
Pisces? Is that all the 25 degrees?
I think it could be. I mean, I think Mercury's at 25 today, opposing Neptune at 25. So there's sort of a faith versus reality thing going on today. I think your mind's going to kind of check in with where your story is going. So we're a little subconscious, I think, with that Pisces energy.
So
Yes.
that's probably what I've been feeling. And my gosh, everything you said last week about this last week that was coming up, it happened.
Yeah, it was a big. Did you end a fight with yourself? Did you find yourself ending a struggle with yourself?
I was kept looking for it. I think I've been ending those struggles for a long time.
Yeah.
I think more personal relationship type struggles.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so I always look at the outside world and say, if I got it going on in the outside world, that means somewhere inside here, I can't always connect it. Like I'll be having an issue or an argument with somebody or something, good or bad, going in the outside world, and then I look to understand or to understand why that's happening inside of me, where that is inside of me, and I can't always connect the dots. This is a weird one. Like I wasn't able to connect with why I felt the way I felt.
Mm. I had an epiphany. Actually, my epiphany came the night before the full moon apex, Thursday night. I was planning stuff. I caught myself doubting about something, and I realized, oh, that's the struggle with myself right there. That like I want to move forward and charge forward. I was working on something for the future, 40 Days of Truth and Purpose, a program we have coming up. And I was having doubts, and I was like, oh, stop fighting myself about this. We got this. Why are we still, stopping and arguing and questioning with myself? So I caught myself not struggling, but holding myself back. And
Huh.
and so I
And
released that clasp. I was like, okay, I'm not holding myself back anymore.
yeah,
Um,
I think a lot of that was like last year and early this year for me working it out. It's like I've had so many coincidences happen right now, and so many things that should have happened that happened, and everything's moving in the direction that I wanted to. So it's like I got past the is it going to work out phase anymore, or am I doing the right thing phase? Like I'm not there, but I do believe it's with the struggle is with the way I feel emotionally. Sometimes I'm on this mission, right? And sometimes when people are on that, when they're not in the same level of the mission that I am, I have to talk myself off of a cliff.
okay,
That's
because
probably the biggest thing I noticed. It's like, what do you mean you're not in all the way?
okay, and so I would say, well then, um, where the fight with yourself is that everyone has to be on the same page. Like, so the
Yeah.
fight with yourself is like telling yourself they all have to be on the same page. No, why am I telling myself they all have to be on the same page? They can, they can join late. They can join the meeting late or whatever. So I think that's the struggle we're releasing right there. That little subtle. It's subtle.
Yeah.
Now, if you put a gun to my head and said, "Do you think it's going to work out?" I'd be like, "Of course it's going to work out." Like, so it's like I don't really doubt. It's like it's not real. It's a habit. It's like a habit is what it
Yeah,
is.
it is.
It's
It's
trained
a habit
behavior
of
that
things
I'm
not
on.
working out.
Right. And it's like, but if you ask me to put my money on the table, I'm betting on me. Like there's no question there. But there's still this hesitancy in the behavior, is what I find.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. It's another way to say it too is not to give energy to old habits.
Yeah, and you got to catch yourself in it because it's so subconscious. I'm like, I'm running down the street throwing on my fireman's coat before I realize someone yelled fire. Like I'm so, you know what I mean? Like I'm halfway to the place driving. I'm like, wait a second, what am I doing? Because it's so automated, these responses, and trained over sometimes maybe centuries. I mean, this could be even past life because of Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. There's an open window to the subconscious right now. A solid open window. And Neptune, I can't quite. I'm not sure where Neptune is today. I actually look and see where Neptune. Oh, Neptune's at 25 now. So yeah, there's a complete open window the other side. So the point is these are habits and perceptions that the soul came with as a prejudice to begin with. We're already in that. We were born with that assumption, and I think we're getting rid of assumptions we were born with.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to say it because everything does feel like it's something that's old. It's like something that shouldn't be there anymore.
Yeah, yeah. You can feel it's expired. I mean, it's tired. You're certainly over it. It's certainly an eye roll. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, you're this again. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The kind of thing. So, yeah. So the moon in Aries was tough. I think on Friday was really jittery. Even in my live show, I ended up jumping places and where I was in my script because I was just so reactive. And so yeah. And today I'm still feeling a little bit of that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go into what's happening this week because it's like the aftermath of the full moon. There's all the stuff that we got rid of and that full moon, and then all the stuff that we're moving towards this week. And we got some big stuff happening this week. I mean, in the world, there's some wild stuff. Like last week, you're right. I mean, it's like the Trump indictment, which was like hilarious to watch it. It's like watching a soap opera, right? And watching that happen, watching the presidential stuff happen, watching the World Economic Forum, they're wanting to mask up everywhere again and stuff like that. So that was definitely starting to happen from the 23rd onward, which we said was going to happen. Stuff is going to go down. So what
Yeah.
do we got? What do we got coming this week? And what were we ending last week?
So last week was really about ending. So what's going to happen is it's moving from an inner to an outer narrative, first of all. So we're wrapping up the inner narrative really today. Like today and tomorrow, you're learning how, you and I are even talking about it. Like we're putting the finishing touches on last week right now, which was, us reframing what the hell was that all about going on inside of me, right?
Right.
And bringing context to that. And it shifts from inner to outer this week. And by the way, it stays to outer for the rest of the year. Frankly, in
So
fact,
we've done our inner work, is what you're saying.
we've done our inner work. In fact, we've absolutely done. In fact, we started the karma in March in Pisces to remove the karma. By Virgo, we birthed the new karma free. And Libra, it's like us getting our footing on this new version of ourselves. So we've been working on ourselves basically all year. And now we're going to turn around and be like, oh crap, look what's going on in the world. I've been so busy with myself. And we have Mars cross the South Node in Libra at 24 degrees this week. Mars crosses on Wednesday. So hump day is a real hump day, by the way.
Oh, so
Uh,
a Grandmaster Libra Day on Wednesday.
yeah, yes. Well, Mars crosses the Grandmaster step. The South Node is at 24 degrees Libra,
That's
which is
six. That's
that's
Grandmaster
six.
Libra.
That's Grandmaster Libra, which to me means the end of relationships to the public. So I had said this is divorcing public conflict. People are going to get divorced from something big picture relationship. 24 is the big relationships. My relationship to the World Bank, my relationship to a political party, my relationship to the homeowners association. These are big ones. And Mars means cut. We're going to cut, we're going to end, or we're going to create a conflict. We're going to stop. These are all Martian energies. And South Node means it's good for you for a lifetime. So when it's a node, it's ending a multi-lifetime or all this lifetime sort of consciousness that I've always been aligned, with the banking system, but now I'm going to go into cash. Or I've always been aligned, with this, but it's no longer. I'm no longer going to play into that. And I actually think because 24 is peace and the south node is negative, it's like the opposite is an opposite. I think that we're actually cutting away from conflict. I think people are going to turn away from world conflict this week, which basically means they're sick of it. They're sick of the conflict. So I think we're going to see energetically, I've had enough is enough already kind of thing, which is the beginning of the end of something, and also the beginning of the re-evolution. As I mentioned, Pluto stationing direct, we have Pluto going direct next week. Pluto's at 27. It's at that same trucker convoy degree. Okay, like, and the same. And when it went back to 27, you said that Canada also rose up for different reasons, right, around education or something, right?
We did, yeah. It's like 1 million people marched against having their kids indoctrinated.
Right. So it's interesting how Canada, who's a Cancer, I believe, by the way, decided to stand up. So I think what's happening, so Wednesday's the hump day. And what happens on Wednesday is we sort of finish up our relationship till Wednesday with ourselves. So we get good with ourselves and we get on track. And then come Wednesday, our attention turns to global at that point. And then Pluto goes direct a week later. And Pluto direct means that the transformation is now in motion. Right now, we're at a stoplight. Pluto isn't, we're looking at all the stuff going on, but we're not really moving forward or making moves. Now, what happens on Wednesday is Mercury moves into Libra. Well, that's going to be a huge relief because Mercury in Virgo is, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Oh my God, I'm behind on the rent. And so Mercury in Virgo is like very, just we're kind of consumed with our tasks and our work and the details, and you get lost in the details of Mercury in Virgo. Once Mercury goes in Libra, there's a sort of like, whoa, what the hell was that? So there's sort of this, our mind's going to come off of a huge high on Wednesday. Black Moon Lilith, which is our source of fear, is going to move into Virgo for the first time since 2014. So is that right? Yeah, 2014? Yes, correct. So basically, Black Moon Lilith moves into a sign every 9 years and stays for 9 months. It's the same as the nodes. So that means
with me having 29 degree, which is Virgo.
Yep.
What does that feel like for Virgo? Because Lilith is scary.
Lilith is your fear and your trauma. So what Lilith actually is, I'll explain to your viewers, is that the orbit of the moon is actually like a racetrack around the Earth. It's not a perfect circle. It's an ellipse, right? It's an oval.
Yeah.
So what happens is now the Earth is sitting on actually one side of the racetrack. The Earth is not in the center of the racetrack. It's sitting on the side. So this is why the moon gets small and gets big. When it's close and when it's near the Earth at this end of the racetrack, it's really big. And when the moon is way over here on the other end of the racetrack, the moon is really small. That's why it's getting smaller and bigger, as it orbits. Well, this space on the other side of the racetrack, this empty space where you could fit a whole nother Earth, that's Black Moon Lilith. It is the anti-Earth. It is the black hole where a planet could be but isn't. And the idea is that's where consciousness stores fear and trauma. So we map, well, where is that fear and trauma currently in the signs? And the fear and trauma is now moving to Virgo, which means I would predict an uptick in your community because people have fear around their health. It's going to escalate. So right. All fear around health is going to escalate. I would imagine as a 29, any fears you have about being the healer would escalate. That's the master problem of Chiron in Virgo. Like, can I help? Can I really be of help? Or am I being effective? Whatever fear may have, am I a quack or they call me a quack? I don't know. You can tell me what 29 fears are.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've gone through that. I've gone through that quite a bit before, when we made a decision 18 months ago that I would be the public media face of this movement because I didn't really want to be. I wanted, that was from that day forward, I started tackling that. And it was like clockwork along the last 18 months or 24 months, watching people attack me in different areas and like brutal stuff. And I kept having to talk myself, Jason and Cynthia, talking me off cliffs all the time because what people were saying was just insane. And it was, even though I knew it wasn't true, it still sat in my head. So I feel like I've worked it out.
You probably have. And I think a lot of times when Black Moon Lilith goes to a sign, it's because you're here to clear the fear. It's not because you're here to be paralyzed by it. It's the final end of that fear. And these would be fears that have happened over the last 9 years, that have come up in the last 9 years, because it's got a 9 year orbit. So in the last 9 years, what fears you have about being a health leader, a leader of health,
You know what?
whatever.
It's funny. That's 2014. That's when the Human Garage Clinic started kicking up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I look back, and I look at it too. It was the time when I actually pivoted and started Sirius Joy.
That's right.
That's
I
when
mean,
I started
that was
Sirius
right
Joy.
about that time. Yeah.
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 And we were both healing, I think, from our own past prior to that too. I'd had some issues where I was literally healing. I'm not. I think, it's funny. It looks like the second COVID narrative, whatever that is being perfectly timed with Black Moon Lilith and Virgo, which I predict right now. It's like, if people were afraid of COVID, they'll be forced to eradicate that fear once and for all now. So
Yeah. And I mean, I can see that. I mean, people are going, just wait a second here. I didn't die the first time. It's not what you said it was. I'm not, like, I may still have fear, but I'm not buying into the narrative anymore. That's kind of the way I feel it. People are going, oh, they got COVID or whatever is what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, they've got, there's enough. It's we can see now who dies, who doesn't die from it, all that sort of thing. And I think that if there's any fear mongering that happens, it's going to backfire, because people are they're going to be tired of being afraid over their health. And then so that's the first 11 degrees of Black Moon Lilith and Virgo. It's facing fears with your body, facing fears with your own health.
And when does that start again?
Wednesday.
Wow. And it goes all the way to the end of the year?
It goes for 9 solid months. So it's like a pregnancy. It's
Woo!
interesting.
Yeah. And we've been predicting that the next 9 months is this going to, I mean, we can feel this wave coming at us, because people, like I said, you can tell by the questions that they're asking.
Yes.
And when you get big enough numbers like ours, you can see it in waves. It's not like individuals. It's like, like 1,000 people asked that question today.
Oh, that's fast. I know. I love that. That's so fascinating. That's one of the benefits of being in the position that we're in, is we can we have little, cohorts of, the collective consciousness and what's ebbing and flowing. I think you're also going to have a lot of fear come up around the system being broken, because Virgo is the systems of things, the financial system, the governmental system. I mean, here in the United States, we're 6 weeks away from another government shutdown, another system, breaking down or whatever. So facing fears over the systems breaking down.
I just gonna laugh, because it's like how many times in my lifetime have I heard this narrative?
I know, and it's never happened.
Yeah, it's like constantly, and yeah, but this time there is a breakdown, but it feels like breakthrough. It feels like things are breaking, but right behind it, there's enough people that have been looking at alternate solutions, that alternate solutions are gonna pop up right away. And
that's the benefit of Black Moon Lilith. It's like, once you it's about facing your fears. So once they're faced, they can't control you anymore. And it can't be controlled by it anymore. So it's like, how many times have we been under the threat of the country going down and us not having police force and whatever that totally means? It's like, it gets to a point where you're like, boo. And it's like, you're not making me afraid anymore. Like
that's two fears that I had was with not being able to like have food or, like fuel.
Yeah.
And the other one was being locked up,
Oh yeah.
And I had that my whole life until I was. And then like now it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I've already done it. Yeah. I don't want to be there, but yeah, it's like no big deal. And then the other one was the 44-day fast that we did years ago. That took away all the fear of not having food. It's like, no food, it's actually better. I function better. I feel like when you're at a bar and you got to eat, you got to drink, you drink because everybody else is drinking. That's what I feel like around food, because for me, I function better without it.
I have come to the same place, my friend. I eat once a day.
That's awesome.
I eat once a day. I feel sluggish on food, tired, drugged, having trouble focusing. And that's on organic food. I'm not even talking about the chemicals. When I sneak in some pie or something, that I know I'm down for the count. Plus my body's so sensitive now that once you purify yourself or you clean yourself out of that stuff, then as soon as you have a little bit of as soon as you eat a Twinkie, you feel like you've been drinking all night,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Wednesday comes, and we come into this 9 months of Virgo in Lilith. So everybody's going to be trying to fix everything, especially with their health.
With their health first. So the first 11 degrees of Black Moon Lilith is our health and our relationship to our body and our relationship to the present too. I want to say that. So if you are living in fear, living in hunger, living in stress, that applies as well. It's the present. It's facing fears you have in the present reality, which our body presents the present. So it is our body, but is also your state of mind, your state of emotions in the present, etc. And Mars on Wednesday, Mars conjoins the South Node in Libra, which is the cutting of some sort of social tie. And we're going to cut some sort of social tie.
So do you
I said
say 11 degrees? Is that 3 months?
I'd have to look to see how long it takes Black Moon Lilith to go 11 degrees.
Because it's 9 months. So I'm thinking 3 decades almost.
Yeah, you're probably right. 3 months.
Yeah.
That's good. Good math there. Yeah. Yeah. I hadn't thought about it, but that's exactly it. So probably about 3 months.
So we're talking November, November, December, January. So middle of January. And that's where it's going to feel that way, right? And then it's going to focus to community, right?
Then the fears focus on daily life. So the second decan is like daily life stuff. So fear of systems breaking down in daily life. That'll be fear of the food system, the economic system, the fear of your educational system, in your town. And what's interesting is now that we just come up with this together, but Pluto goes back into Aquarius. The sun at the same time. The sun and Pluto go into Aquarius the exact same day on January 20th, and that'll probably be when Black Moon Lilith is at 11. So,
okay, got it. That makes perfect sense. What's funny is that we have that leads to a bigger question that I had. Because we're talking about something I want to talk about today anyways,
okay.
Which is the decan system.
Okay.
So basically the first 10 days of any sign or 10 days of any aspect or 10 months of any aspect or whatever, the first 10 out of 30 is personal. It's inside, right?
Yes, that's correct. It's your relationship to yourself. It is your inner experience, your inner life.
And that's what we're feeling right now in Libra.
We're wrapping up our inner life. So it starts from 0 to 9. So 9 is actually, because it starts on 0 degrees, 9 is actually the 10th day.
And that's today.
That's today. So today we are wrapping up our inner journey, which is what the first chapter of this video was about.
Okay. And then
we fell into it. I'm just pointing out how you fall into it without even trying. Yeah.
Okay. And then we go into the second chapter, which is 10 to 19.
Correct.
And so that's what we're coming up to. And that's why you're saying that now we're going to start changing this reflection, because we have Black Lilith and we also have Libra trying to balance it off, right?
Right. So the first chapter of Libra, or the first decan, I call them chapters because people all know what a chapter is. It's like is your relationship to yourself. Your second decan of Libra is your relationship to your life. So it's my relationship to food, my relationship to my coworkers, my relationship to my wife, my relationship to my kids, my relationship to the school, my relationship to my car, like I hate this effing car, like that comes up in Libra. So and then of course, ideally the root intention of Libra is balance and harmony. So, it's like, that old saying, you put a drop of food coloring into water and it will spread through the whole water.
Yeah.
That's the force of Libra that's doing that. That's the force of Libra that's making it equal in the water. Right. There's this conscious force to equate and equalize and neutralize everything in the universe. And so the force of neutralization is the force of Libra, or the force of justice. It's also the scales, the justice. So what happens is, again, going to what's going on in national politics in the world, when the sun's in Libra, everyone is obsessed with equality and justice. So when you see inequality and you see injustice, it pisses you off far more in the sign of Libra than does any of the other signs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's when it really gets under your skin. And it's funny with our forefathers, I wonder how much they're into astrology, because they make elections happen in Scorpio here in the United States, which is when you draw the line. And they make it right after you just had a month of looking at injustice.
Oh, they knew. They knew.
They must have known.
Every one of these imposed dates, COVID dates, as you know, came on a significant astrological date. It's like, why did it happen to change on the 21st? Not the 20th, not the 25th, not the 30th.
Yeah, totally. It's like a Saturday or something. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some warlocks, I think, in the background of that world. Because I've seen certain things like 9/11 astrologically was just the worst day of the month to bomb a building. Like it was an explosive day astrologically.
You said it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was an explosive day already. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was exactly. And also 9/11 being, 911 and that programming in our head. Like you can see there's programming going on for sure. Yeah.
So then we're going to move. Okay. So we got 3 months that we're worried about our internal health and stuff like that. Then we're going to go into the next 3 months is the systems that make those health and make those statements. And that'll be from January 20th on for February, March, April. Mm-hmm. Whoa. Then we come into April, which is war, take action, make something go on, is the third decan when we are at the global level.
Correct.
So that's why this year is going to be such a wham bam.
Oh, and I think, people are like, oh, the election's going to go this way. I'm like, you have no idea. Because it's like, there's so much going on astrologically. It's like, so yeah, you just said it. So like the heaviest campaigning months of the year, which is the summer for the presidential candidates, right? You're going to be facing, Pluto goes back into Capricorn at 29 degrees Capricorn. So suddenly there's an existential threat. Pluto 29 is existential threat. So we have this existential threat. All of our fears, Black Moon Lilith, are being realized about the globe and the corruption and the sickness of the organization. So we start facing our fears around the sickness of major organizations, which is what Black Moon Lilith in the third decan of Virgo would be. Those systems.
That's in Aries when people want to fight.
Yes, so that's when Aries, and the North Node is in Aries, which is telling us to fight. The North Node in Aries, yeah. So, exactly. We're being told to fight. We're being told to raise up, stand up. In fact, the North Node is currently on the outer planet of Eris, which I don't talk about very often because it's such a slow-moving planet. It's been in Aries since 1925. It stays in the sign for 125 years. So beyond a generation, it doesn't change. So the North Node has been Eris, the 10th planet, which has a 558-year orbit around the sun, has been in Aries since World War I. And so, and Eris is the planet of uprising. It's the planet of standing up for survival. So Pluto is the planet that goes, you cross this line, you die. Eris is, told you not to cross. Basically, is what it is. So the North Node is on Eris right now as we speak, saying, told you not to cross. So so it's all being programmed to rise up, consciously, just with the cycles, to rise up to a solution to the sickness, ultimately. And that gets really intense next summer. I mean, I think next summer will be probably the most intense presidential campaign we've ever seen. And we just heard here in the United States, I think RFK is now speaking at being an independent, running as an independent. So we know from Ross Perot and Clinton how that throws off a national election.
Right.
When you have a third party person. Yeah. It makes it a wild card.
Yeah, it makes it a total wild card because if they get enough votes as an independent, they can take it away and direct it wherever they want.
Exactly. It ends up, if nothing else, it ends up screwing up for the other two parties. Like one of the two parties will be hurt by it if the independent doesn't win on their own. Yeah. So it's a curveball. Certainly a major algorithm, a challenge for AI for sure.
So what is so we got 9 months where we're in Virgo. It's going to start off personally, my personal issues, then my systems, then what happens in the world. But by that time, we're going to see, this is where we predict we're going to see the greatest collapse of personal health in the history of the world.
Ooh, weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
That's
what
just,
I've been predicting since 2019.
well, that makes sense because, okay, so now we're going to get super wizard philosophical. Sometimes the fear of being sick is what keeps you healthy, right?
That
Because
that
you're,
that
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So you,
or or
keeps you
or
fighting because you're afraid, because you're
right. It's
fighting the
this is
disease,
the
you're fighting
dividing
the
line.
cancer. Right.
This
Yes.
is where people have to take a choice. I have faith. I believe. This is where I've been dealing with my own stuff in my body, and now everything is changing. I mean, internally, my physical body's changing, and I'm past that belief point. Like, I hope this works out because, I've had a lot of I hope this works out over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I hope this works out inside of me. Like, I feel good, but I hope it works out. But now it's all working out. But people are going to have to take a choice. And this is where I think we get split up into organic or technological. This is where I
Yeah.
think where the world splits into two.
Ah, interesting. Yeah. They go for memory versus implant.
Yeah. It's
Is what you're
like
saying. That sort
you
of
hear
line. And
me
that,
talk about it all the time. We're old enough, especially me. I remember times when like we had a phone at home, we had one at work which we couldn't use. If we didn't talk to somebody for 2 days or 3 days, we just kind of knew that they were okay. Like
right.
today, if you didn't talk to somebody for 3 days, you get a text message, you'd be sending the police looking for them.
It's so
And
true.
and so there's a natural and innate ability that as we adopted technology that took away our abilities that we didn't even know it was an ability because we got the technology now we could check.
Right. Yeah.
And this is
Like
where I believe
intuition.
it's happening.
Yeah, like intuition. You think about someone, they text message you a minute later, like, whoa,
Yeah,
you see that proof of that. It is sort of demonstrating the proof. So what's interesting is if I face all my fears of dying in the first 3 months of Black Moon Lilith and Chiron, then I maybe give up the fight and I die.
that's
That might
this is where
be,
we're at. And this is why mental health is so important right now.
yeah,
This is why, like doing these simple little fascial maneuvers, we know flip the script, and all of a sudden we become positive inside of our brain because we change our chemistry inside of our body. Serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin goes up. That's why people who are doing fascial maneuvers, not just once in a while, a couple times a week, the people that do a little bit every day, those are the ones that are having all the significantly cool changes in their life. Other
yeah.
people, it's not so cool right now. It's like I can't tell you how many people have gotten like weird stuff smashed in the head with 200 screws and 11 plates, and like torn up. I've seen more like significantly serious accidents on people in the last 3 weeks than I have in my entire career.
That's interesting. That to me seems like Mars and Libra. Um, it's as far as accidents are concerned, accident
Yeah,
prone.
it's
Because
happening like crazy.
Mars is the opposite of Libra. So when Mars is in its opposite sign, it's somewhat dimmed, which means our ability to coordinate is dimmed, our ability to fight is dimmed. Like we're just not as sharp. We're not the sharpest tool in the shack when Mars is in Libra. And so I can see where you make a mistake, you slip on the ice, you overcorrect in the car, oversteer, overreact. That's the other thing that happens with Mars and Libra. There's an overreaction of things. So someone steers in your lane on the highway, you overreact, the car flips, because you responded too aggressively.
That's today,
And
actually. Mars in Libra is today because it's step 9. So that's why
Yeah,
people are overreacting today, right?
100%. Yeah, people overreact. And sometimes that's the only way to reveal that there was a problem in the first place, is to sort of let out the pressure that's been building up. Because Libra is openness. So it's that part of us that opens up. It's the part of us that wants to spread the food coloring to all the water. So you have a little anger, it spreads to everything, right? Like you have a little, you have resentment, it spreads to everything. So it becomes very obvious. It exposes ego when Mars is in Libra. Where people were maybe hiding their ego or hiding their resentment, it becomes out in the open. It becomes kind of clear.
Yeah, I had that situation happen today with somebody.
Yeah. I say in the pep talks every day, like, watch your mouth because you're going to say the truth to, like by accident. Well, you're gonna hear the quiet part out loud when Mars is in Libra, but certainly accident prone during this time of the year for sure. Or this time of actually Mars has a year and 11-month orbit, so it's really only every 2 years basically that we have Mars in Libra.
Oh, seriously, it's only two, and this year it is.
Yes, yeah. So last year it was, and the year before it was.
That's why
Mars is almost twice the orbit of Earth.
People are having accidents all over the place.
Oh yeah. This is I've noticed that too. A lot of accidents and injuries. Yes. So the last time would have been 2021.
Okay,
Mars
so
is in Libra.
So if we continue on in the week, okay, we go back to the week, okay. So okay. Wednesday's that turning point.
Yep.
That's when it's kind of a come to Jesus.
Yep.
And then everybody's attention is going to focus on fairness and systems, like their school, their work, their local politics, their job. What is that going to look like for the rest of the week?
Well, I think so Thursday is step 12, which is that you come to learn something. So you learn something on Thursday, and then Friday is step 13, which means there's a breakdown. So it's sort of like, oh, I didn't realize you were taking 3-hour lunches. So there's a revelation on Thursday, and there's a conflict on Friday. Like, you're going to have to stop this or go. Like, this is out of balance. This is unfair. You've taken more than you've given or whatever. So I think we learn about what is out of balance or unfair on Thursday, and then we act out on Friday. And the thing about Friday is the moon's in Cancer, so people are emotional.
Whoa.
And so you have a moon in Cancer, you have the sun at 13 degrees. That means that the universe is going to expose where the injustice is, and our emotions will be active in that moment. So it's not something we're going to be able to swallow or sweep under the rug. It's going to overtake us. So I'm predicting some sort of a minor meltdown for most people on Friday.
What you're saying is chain yourself, lock yourself up, shut off your phone, go in your room, crawl underneath a blanket.
Yeah, well, you could hide from it. I think it's inevitable. Like, it's going to I think the response is to check your own feelings at the door, like to know how you feel ahead of time. Because I think when things get out of control, is when people aren't in touch with how they feel to begin with. So it's like, it's like you've been resenting that guy at work this whole time. He always takes a long lunch. He's always, and you resent that person. But then once you see the evidence of what you've been feeling all along, well, boom, you strike. So it's sort of like, I think that little come to Jesus with yourself, like, okay, and if I find out something that's not going to be, I'm happy with, I'm not going to react right away. I'm going to process the emotion. So that's the way I think around it, because I think the universe wants to say, hey, this is unjust. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to put your head in the sand, I don't think, per se.
And so then what happens on the weekend?
On the weekend, we go, I probably shouldn't have punched him. So
Are you saying that Gemini? It's like that thought?
Yeah, it's 14 and 15 over the weekend.
And then we got a Grandmaster Libra again
there's a less Sunday, exactly right? On late Sunday into Monday. So the step number here in the United States is changing. This weekend it also moves to be just after sunrise. So it's sort of things become kind of, when you have two steps right away in the beginning of the morning, when you have a step change in the morning, it's like you wake up remembering yesterday, and then you suddenly know what to do. So it's sort of like a carryover. Like, these are the days when you go to bed still processing it. It's not resolved when you go to bed. So we're not resolved Friday night going to bed. Saturday night we're thinking about it, and then late Sunday hits step 15, and we're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna let this go, or I'm just gonna file for a divorce, or I'm just gonna. You have that resolution that brings peace, because you realize at 14 where your heart belongs. My heart doesn't belong punching fellow employees. My heart doesn't belong tolerating this person cheating on me. That's step 14, heart belongs. My heart doesn't belong dealing with this. And you come to a clarity where you side with yourself and where your heart. And that's when you know what you can open up and accept, step 15. And because it's a Grandmaster step of Libra, that's going to set a policy. So when you hit a Grandmaster step, you set policy. You create policy. So it's like, and sometimes you learn here to apply there. So it's like, as soon as you realize I'm not going to tolerate, this coworker, you realize I'm not going to tolerate this company. Like, it like escalates. It ends up getting applied, cut and paste, like all over your life, because you realize from this one little microcosm of the lesson, you then go to apply it to the rest of you, which is what you'll do from step 15 to step 24. You'll be applying that knowledge of how relationships ought to be that you learned over this weekend. So this weekend is a
grandmaster to grandmaster step, basically 24.
Yes.
Which is 24. We're back at 24 again, which is that.
Right. And that's when the sun will be on the south. The south node stays at 24 for the entire month. The entire month, which is rare. Yes, it is rare. It doesn't. I haven't figured out the geometry of why the nodes stay for a long time and don't stay for a long time. I've never looked at like an Earth model to figure it out in my head. But like there's sometimes it'll stay at a step for like 6 weeks, the same degree, the nodes will. And the node is the consciousness, the overall consciousness of the heart and moon, because the node is really where the sun and the moon's orbits come together, makes the north node, and then 180 of that is the south node. So it's literally the combined orbits of our heart, the sun, and our moon, our emotions. And so our heart and emotions are seeking peace. 24, north node Aries, there's conflict, but it's actually for the purpose of peace. 24, it's for the purpose of justice. It's for the purpose of unity, which is why I think, there's more likely to be a disruption, because people are on the side of, people now want peace.
Yeah.
That's what we're being guided towards.
Yeah. So, okay. So we got this week kind of baked out. We know what's going to happen this week, which is interesting because this week is basically a reconciliation week, is a way to say it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. I'm reconciling.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're resolving where you stand with yourself, which sets the ground zero. So if I'm not going to tolerate this crap from myself, I'm sure as hell not going to tolerate it from you. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. That's how I think it works. It's like once you get straight with yourself, then it's very clear who's out of line in your life. So you're reconciling your relationship with yourself, and then you're starting to see, okay, well, if that's the way it is with me, what does that mean with me and this person, or me and that, or me in the school, or me and my job? So, and we come to, we have a come to Jesus this weekend. So this is a come to Jesus weekend.
Yeah, and then by Sunday night, it'll be like, whatever it is, I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to make my decision, lay in the bed that I made, apologize, not apologize, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And then, the following week we commit. So 1 week later, the next hump day of next Wednesday, that's when we commit to the solution. We make a commitment. And that is right after Pluto stations direct, which means the conflict is on officially at the global level. That's the point where people want to do something about it. They want action. They want results.
So that's where this is why this, and by the way, we actually have, what is today, October 2nd? So we got things started. Oh, so 2 more days is, 2 more days is 10, 11. So on 11, we've got this big international emergency broadcast message.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. On 11, I know, isn't that funny? It's on
11, which is in body. So there's something that they're bringing down.
There's something very interesting. I mean, 11 is integrity. So it's like if you were going to test, 11 is the test. Like, I'm not the problem. You're the problem. Step 11 is when you separate whether you're the problem or the world's the problem, or where the line happens to lie.
Hold on. Isn't that Wednesday?
That's Wednesday. That's the same day as the emergency broadcasting test is on Wednesday, step 11.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? It's like when you start putting this stuff together.
It's amazing. It's like either someone knows astrology better than me, which I would love to meet that person. I'm saying, or it's just happening organically with the consciousness of stream of consciousness. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'd like to meet the dark wizard that's planning on it.
There's a dark wizard for sure.
And I
remember, I used to work for the dark wizard, so I know.
Oh, okay. Well, they haven't tried to hire me. They know I won't work for them, so I'll have to run into that wizard sometime.
So why do you think the system is so afraid of astrology?
I think that's the narrative. I don't think that's the truth.
Okay.
Like the Pope was against astrology, but he hired astrologers all the time.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, I completely agree with what you're saying. They
Yeah.
use astrology. I know that they use astrology in the system, but why do you think that they are pushing against it so much? There's a big dude, astrologer, just got his account taken down the other day. Massive one. I can't remember the name. But.
Oh, really? I'd like to know that actually, because I've been sort of scouting for that sort of behavior. I think it's because it's a source of truth. You
Yeah.
know, I think the astrology has, once you learn how it works, your mind is forever blown. Like you can never go back. You can
Yeah.
never put that back in the box. Like it's not like a religion where you can debate over whether Jesus was alive for 3 days or 4 days. Like people are all debating around religion. In astrology, it's like, oh, it's a step 11 day and there's emergency broadcast system test. Just like you see the evidence all around you so profoundly that you never go back, and it sort of decodes. The other thing I think is I think it's being malused. I really do. Like I said, I've seen some stories. There's got to be some dark astrologer out there, because I've seen some things come out on the perfect astrological day for mayhem.
Yeah, I mean, it always does.
Yeah, it does.
Every world war was started in Aries.
We just looked at. I just had a meeting with my team. We do it every Monday before this call, which is one of the reasons why I'm all sharp and ready for you. And the Civil War was started on step 22 Aries.
Yeah.
It was step 22 Aries, and 22 is chaos. And so that first shot that started the Civil War of the United States, and Neptune was at 29 Pisces on that day. 29:59, the very, 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 very final little glint of faith and hope, which is what Neptune and Pisces brings. It brings a lot of faith and hope. Then Neptune went into Aries, the planet of war, and we went into a spiritual war. The Civil War was a spiritual war. It was a war over morality.
Yeah.
As far as the people are concerned. By the way, Venus will be back at 29 Aries next April. 29 Pisces next April in Aries, in the time you just brought up.
Talking about it. That's what I'm talking about. You can't make this stuff up.
It'll be at the Civil War return next April.
Yeah.
So in 2024. So again, the same time that Black Moon Lilith moves into that next decade, all that stuff we just talked about.
And 2024 is an 8 year. It's a decide year.
Yes, it is. It is a decide year, and I think we do. I mean, in the United States, we definitely make a major decision. I think it's going to be a fascinating one too. And I know we'll see. I don't want to predict. I'm always. When it's on this level, I am always like, I felt COVID coming for like 6 months. I was like, the sky's falling. Something's going to happen to everybody. And people are like, man,
yeah.
intense. Like, what's going on?
I remember the call. I remember, I can't, because I said it's the 15th January and I got to get out. And you called me and it's like, yeah, what do you think? Everybody's saying the 13th. I'm like, it's the 15th. I'm leaving.
And you're like, I'm leaving. You were leaving. You're on a plane, on a jet plane. Literally called me from the airport, LAX, I think, and it's just like, I'm on my way to Canada. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
You're leaving the country? Oh crap! When you start seeing people jumping off the ship, you know the damn thing's going down. But anyways, the point is like, I rarely can predict what exactly it is that happens, but I can feel it coming, and we certainly have a year.
We don't have to. That's the thing is that I've stopped trying to predict, because prediction means also me putting my putting a belief or putting something out there. I don't want to do that. I just know that it's there, and I want to be adaptable. If I predict something specific, then I'm not being adaptable to what is. And like even today, right now, our current way of operating is we have a 3-month vision and a 1-month plan. We operate our entire organization on a 1-month plan right now.
I think that's really wise, actually.
It's like you can't do anymore. Yeah, like we have plans. I'm working towards things, but I can't tell you that internet or social medias are going to be up. So we have all of our data down in other places. I can't tell you that the systems or the healthcare systems are going to be up or not. So we're prepared. We're getting people ready to answer questions to help other people, because we just don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, and it's really forcing us to, the flip side of what's happening is it's forcing you to be more enlightened, because power is in the present. It's not in planning the future.
Yes.
It's in the now, where you are right now. So it's forcing us into our power, really.
Yes.
If you want to analyze it, because that's where you have your most effect is how you respond now. And besides, whenever I plan for the future, I'm a different person by the time I get there. So I don't know. I very rarely follow through with those plans. You know, like
And
like I
by
get
the
there
way,
and I'm like,
somebody's
this is
asking
good.
about satellite phones and that, and I'm like, I'm not planning for any disasters. I'm planning everything that I need, everywhere I need to be, everything I need to have in order to complete this mission of helping people or continue it. It will be there. I will be exactly where I need to be, and so will everybody else. And that's the other part too, is that it's always worked out. So
It
why
has.
am I
Yeah.
stressing about it?
I think that's part of the lesson too, for us to wake up with Neptune and Pisces. I think part of what we're waking up to is, oh my God, that's so funny. I just got a text from what I was about to tell you about.
Ha!
I got a text from one of my partners, Devin Dewar. She does angel channeling, and we have a show called Angel Intervention. And I was about to tell you that I've noticed in history, if you study like World War II, things that went, you know, it's like sometimes the most nefarious plans get undermined by like a dead battery in a tank or something at the very last minute. Like there's always an angel intervention. I think that the heavens will allow us to go on the brink of extinction, and then we'll at the last minute intervene if necessary. And so I was about to talk about angel intervention. I just got a text message that said angel
That is
intervention.
funny. Well, that, to me, that means
That's
it's
them
important for you
winking.
to talk about it. So talk about it.
So we have a connection to our higher. I think part of our enlightenment and getting out of this lower vibration frequency is to know that we're actually an extension of God incarnate. You know, that we have chords of light going to a higher self, a higher being, a higher awareness that lives beyond this lifetime and onto many. And you know, the path of enlightenment is that you start to work with your spiritual team as much as you work with your team on Earth. That there's a team of consciousness holding space and intention in the ethereal. And you know, you have to have these experiences to know, but I've just had so many miracles happen in my life that were 100% a miracle that proved to me this shift is real. So I never expect anyone just to believe me because I say so. I say, hey, pray. And actually, when I have prayed to the angels, which are basically the God's staff, is the way I look at it. So God's human garage staff, are archangels. And so if you pray the angels and pray for something from the heart, that's the other key. It can't come from the mind; it has to come from the heart. I have found profound miracles happen in my life, and I think with Neptune and Pisces, we're being invited to ascend, to go to a higher understanding of awareness, a higher perception, which means we include these higher energies that usurp, the energy of Earth.
When I was
So
when I was in solitary confinement, I was at the greatest level of pain in my life. I literally prayed from my heart and said, God, if you help me out of this, I'll spend the rest of my life helping people. And
wow.
And 4 hours later, a neurologist who was a chiropractor got put into my cell for 14 months.
Oh wow, that's amazing. It makes you wonder, like, chicken egg. That's the thing. Which came first? Did they suddenly show up because Garry prayed, or did Garry know he better pray if he's gonna get that? Like,
Yeah,
it's
and
always
I
curious.
don't even care anymore. I used
Yeah,
to try and figure it out. It just happens. So you've
well,
got, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say I had the same experience. I'd come out of the hospital with MRSA infection. I had a huge hole in my leg, like huge, where the flesh was gone, and I got on my knees and prayed to the angels for the first time and said, God, please help me. I don't know what to do. I'm completely. I've never prayed before, and I hadn't in that way because I was a practicing Buddhist. And then the next day, I go to Facebook and I see a message from a viewer who says, "Hi, I'm an angel reader. We got your prayer. How can we help you?" And I was like, "What?" I try. I was like, "What do you mean?" I played phony with her. I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Oh," and she was live right there on Facebook. So not only did I get that message, but when I typed back, she was there responding back to me, and she was like, "Oh, you didn't? Oh, I got a message from the angels that you prayed the angels for help yesterday. Did you? Because I'm an angel reader. They're telling me to help you." And I was like, "Oh my
Oh,
God!" Like from that point, I was a believer. And so you stop trying to figure out how it works. You just start to use it. You just start to pay.
wow.
Even then,
Wow.
I'm like, I'm sort of stubborn. I'm like, I got this, God. I'm like,
Yeah.
like I'm always trying to
Yeah.
show God how I've got it. And it's like, including is such a more powerful position.
So,
So, a couple of miracle stories here today between the two of us.
couple things. You got the 40 days coming up. Can you tell everybody what it's about?
40 days of truth and purpose. This is so amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk our subscribers through their own astrological chart on the day that the energy rules. So on step 0, we're going to look at Pluto in your chart, where you're going to find what is the truth of your Pluto, what is the purpose of your Pluto. Step 1, where's the sun in your chart? What is the truth of your sun? What's the purpose of your sun? And go through your entire chart. We're including midheaven, black moon Lilith, oscillating Lilith. You know, we're going to go through all these different aspects. And then the last 12 days, when we go into Sagittarius, we we come up with what our belief is about our future. So we craft sort of a belief about where is this all headed.
12
sort of
days.
Kind of, yeah, in 12 days. Yeah, exactly. I missed on accident. Like, yeah, totally. So you end on step 12, the Grandmaster Day. You end up knowing yourself and knowing where you're going according to your chart, where you're meant to go and what you're meant to do. And the fact that we're doing it at Scorpio for the truth part, you can't BS in Scorpio. It's like, you know, it gets to the truth of things. It gets to the
when does it start? What day?
October 23rd it starts. It's for 40 days.
And for those of you guys watching this, you can go to our website. You go to our partners, Sirius Joy. You can sign up. And you can do that. If you're not hitting there, you can sign up for $3.99 for the first month. If it doesn't resonate with you, please do not go forward. But I guarantee you it's going to resonate with you. And you can do the 40 days in there. And it'll be exactly precise for each person, right?
You will get to you will know your chart like you never had before. And for people who are astrologers, you're going to learn the step system. And the system I downloaded from, I think, the Archangels. I know from the Archangels. You're going to know it like the back of your hand. So for practitioners who want to use astrology, you know, this is an amazing tool. You could also pull up like your wife's chart or your brother's chart or your friend's chart and do the same little exercise. It's just a little decoding every day, a little lecture from me on like what to look for, and then a little journaling of like, where do you see this playing out, you know, in your life, these different themes. So you end up with yourself, and there's a surprise ending. I'm not going to say what it is. But we're telling everyone to buy a special book, because we're actually walking you through a very special document that you will keep for the rest of your life. So
amazing.
But we're going to reveal what that is in the middle of the program. We're not going to say in the beginning, because otherwise you'll have these preconception notions that we don't want you to have. We want to have a pure read, and they go, ha ha, this is what you've been doing, you know, kind of thing. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
So for those guys listening again, it's the app that I've been on for 6 years, going on 7 years, the Sirius Joy app that Chris created. And it literally on a daily basis gives us a forecast. It gives us 7 messages a day that are specific to us. And they are so uncanny, so timely. You know, it's funny because at this point in my journey, I don't need them very often, the messages, but every once in a while I'm having a low point. I get one and I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah, we're always with you. That's our new slogan. We're always with you, just like the angels. I borrowed that from the angels. We're always with you. And it is true. The thing is like, what's amazing is you look at your phone when you need it. Like there's something higher going on that says, look at your phone, you know, check out that message right now. So it's either an affirmation that you're on track, or it's that little bit of inspiration you needed to get out of a rut. And the biggest compliment we get is that people say they're not crazy, because you think you're in this, like, you think you're alone in your own drama. And the reality is, no, that's the symphony that's playing, my friend. Welcome to Earth, you know, kind of thing. So to have that affirmation is a huge relief, and it lowers the stress right away. And you just sort of go, okay, this is what's going on. All right, I can live with this.
Chris, it's awesome. Hey, by the way, if you want to come down to Joshua Tree, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there next month on the 21st for the big event.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. On the 21st, by the way, it just happened to be that day.
21st of October. Or November?
Yeah.
Oh, of October. Right. Okay. All right. I'll consider it.
Yeah. So we're gonna be in Joshua Tree.
Wow.
But thank you, Chris. I really, really appreciate you. I love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. And hello to all the Human Garage people out there. Much love to you. Until next week. Ciao.
Okay, everybody. If you haven't done it yet, sign up for Sirius Joy app. Just give it a shot. It's $3.99 for the first month. If you don't like it, then ex-nay it. But I guarantee you it'll change your life. And the 40 days coming up here. So that starts off in a couple of weeks. So I would definitely get into that. so that you can start actually understanding your life, your astrology. If you want to understand how astrology works in your life, that's one that will last for the rest of your life. I promise you that. And in addition to that, if we are doing a live in-person event, amazing, it all came together. So we're going to be in Joshua Tree. We're going to be there on the 21st. We just put it up on our website under events right now. You can go check it out. It's $50. The $50 is to help us pay for the event and stuff like that. We will have supplements there. We will have shirts. We will be there. The founders will be there. It's going to be an amazing event. For those of you guys who caught a little glimpse of what happened in Vancouver, this is going to be Vancouver times 1,000. Looking forward to it. And I saw tickets going out the window already this morning. So make sure you get yours right away. And just to make it 17 and under is free of charge. So if you want to bring your kids, bring your kids. 17 under is free of charge. We want you to bring your kids. We had kids that were 6 years old, 5 years old. We had babies at the last event. So bring your kids, guys. This is going to be fantastic. And if you haven't, and again, when you come to one of these events, it's our way, it's your way of helping and contribute for all the content that we create, all the programs that we run, supplements, events, and shirts and stuff like that are the way that we pay for all this, and this whole team that operates this and brings this to you. We have our 28-day life reset, which is a tool, the Lifestyle Artist Program, which is a worldwide network of people that are learning to help people by helping themselves first. Start off at the 28-day reset if you haven't done it yet. And super important, we have coming up next week on October 7th, we have the advanced class coming up. And on that advanced class, what we're going to be doing is taking fashion maneuvers and modifying it. Is that October 7th, right?
October 7th at 8 a.m. Pacific.
That's 5 days from now, 8 a.m. Pacific.
Saturday.
Is that right?
8 a.m. Pacific. Yeah.
Okay, 8 a.m. Pacific. Awesome. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.